Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students of class 10C. This is my first interaction with you regarding the better understanding of chemistry. Now we are moving towards the next slide, that what we have to learn today, what we have to understand today. This is from your book, chapter number 16, part 2, and according to CI syllabus, topic number 11.5. This topic is from the organic chemistry and basically focusing on polymers. And dear students, the objectives for today's learning or understanding are as follows. The first objective is, what are polymers? We will understand not only their definitions but also how they are formed and the ways which we use to form these polymers. We will also understand the importance of monomers today. The second objective for today's lecture is the understanding the ways how the polymers are formed with examples and illustrations. And the third objective for today's lecture is to understand the uses of polyethylene as a typical plastic. Dear students, with these objectives, now we are moving towards our first slide, which will tell us in a very simplest way that how the polymers are formed. You can see here the polymers are basically the macromolecules, and you know that the macromolecules are the molecules with high molecular weight. These are formed by the chemical bonds between many small molecules, and these small molecules are called monomers. We call this as one unit. These one unit combines with many other units and form a complex molecule, and these molecules are called the polymers. And dear student, this process by which we converted these monomers into polymers, this process is called polymerization, and this is the simplest illustration. These are the small units called monomers. There are so many units, and when they pass through a special process, and this process is called polymerization. So these small units link together with each other and form a long chain of many small units. When combined together, they form the polymers. Dear students, after having this basic concepts how polymers are formed by the process of polymerization and by combining the monomers, we are moving towards our next slide, which will give us the different types of polymers. The polymers can be divided on the basis of their monomers into two types. These are the two types of polymers. The first type is called homopolymers. As the name homo, you know the meanings of homo? Homo means same. Same type of monomers, when combined together, they form the homopolymers. When same type of monomers are linked together by the process of polymerization, they are converted into homopolymers. Here we can see a very good example that these are the same type of monomers linked together with another monomer of the same type and form a long chain, and this long chain is because of the same monomers. These are called the homopolymers. You can see all these beads are of same type. Another example, this is a simple illustration. Now we are going towards another example, the polyvinyl chloride. The polyvinyl chloride is formed by the repeating units of vinyl chloride. This is vinyl chloride. This is one unit of vinyl chloride. When this one unit combined with another one unit, and in the same way, in the same fashion, they are linked together with many vinyl chlorides and form a chain called polyvinyl chloride. This polyvinyl chloride is formed of the same type of monomers, so this is called homopolymers. Dear students, after having this understanding of homopolymers, now we are moving towards the second type of polymers, and you can better understand this is called copolymers. Copolymer means the polymers formed by two different monomers. From this illustration you can see this is one type of monomers and this is second type of monomers. These are represented by the different colors, and when these monomers unite with each other, they form a polymer that is called the copolymer. Here's an example. This is styrene unit, and this is isoprene unit. These are two different monomers. When they link together and they form a long chain of styrene isoprene copolymer. So this is how the different monomers are combined together with each other to form the long chains, and this is called the copolymers. Dear students, now after having this better understandings of the types of polymers, we are moving towards the next slide, and this will tell us about the process of polymerization. As we have understand that the polymerization is a process by which the monomers combine with each other and form long chains. There are two types of polymerization processes. One is called the addition polymerization. The addition polymerization, as the name is telling you, that we adding up the monomers with each other, and this addition is done when the monomers are unsaturated, having double or triple bond between the two carbons. Here you can see the double bond present in different monomers. When the same type of monomers having double bond, they combine together, they link together, they form the long chains. And in this way, the polymerization process is done, and this type of polymerization is called addition polymerization. The first example for this addition polymerization is the polyvinyl chloride, which I have already mentioned with you. This is a vinyl chloride monomer. This is linked with each other and form the long chains and form polyvinyl chloride. Second is propylene unit. This is propylene. When it is linked after breaking this double bond, this is linked with another carbon of other propylene monomers and form a long chain, and this chain is called polypropylene chain. This is due to the adding up of the monomers with each other. The third example is styrene, and styrene, this is a unit monomer and it is a long chain of polystyrene. Hope you will understand this type of polymerization. This is addition polymerization. Now we are moving towards the next. And next type of polymerization is called condensation polymerization. As the name is showing, condensed means to become thick, more thick, and thickness is achieved when something is removed from the process. Condensation polymers, monomers combine with each other to form a long polymers, but a byproduct is produced. This byproduct is usually the water, ammonia or HCl. This is also called condensed out. These are condensed out byproducts. When the monomers combine together, they remove something like water ammonia or HCl. This condensation polymerization occurs when the monomers must have bifunctional. Bifunctional means here you can see this is amine group and this is carboxylic group. From this carboxylic group, hydroxyl, and from this amine group, H. These two combine together and a chain is formed, and along with this, the water is removed from this. The water is moved out from this polymerization. That is why this is called condensation polymerization. Dear students, one thing is more to mention. When the monomers unite with each other, they form a linkage. You can see the linkage between this. This is amide group, this is carboxylic group, and when they link together, form a linkage. And in this type, this is called amide linkage. The linkage is very important to keep the monomers united with each other. So now we are moving towards the next. For better understanding of the uses of different polymers. Dear students, after having a thorough understanding of the polymers and the polymerization process, now we are moving towards some uses of different polymers. Here this is slide which shows the different name of polymers, their monomers, as repeating structural units and some important uses. We are going to understand the first name of polymer is polypropylene, and the propylene is the monomer, means the repeating constructional unit. The double bond now is shown in this way, that this is the site for the linkage with others monomers. The important uses of polypropylene are molded and extruded plastics, fill, fibers for garments and carpeting. These are the uses of polypropylene. Now we are moving towards the polystyrene. Styrene is the monomer, and in this way the repeating structure unit are made by breaking this double bond. This breaking of double bond provides a site for the linkage with the other styrene, and in this way polystyrene is formed. Now we are focusing on the uses of polystyrene. The first is styrofoam, foam insulations, breakage proof packaging, inexpensive molded articles. These are the few uses of polystyrene. Now the next one is polyvinyl chloride. We have discussed already this, and the units, monomer units are vinyl chloride, and this is a repeating structure unit of vinyl chloride. Here are few uses, very important uses of polyvinyl chloride: electrical insulation, film, rubber like articles, synthetic leather, floor covering, raincoats, shower, curtains, plastic plumbing, pipes. These are the very important uses of polyvinyl chloride. Next is polyfluoroethylene. This is the monomer, tetrafluoroethene, and this is the repeating structure unit for tetrafluoroethene. Here are some uses: heat and strict resistance coating, that is resistant to high temperatures and inert to almost all solvents and other chemicals. These are the few very important uses of some of the polymers mentioned in your syllabus. Dear students, another very important polymer is polyethylene. The polyethylene is formed by the process of polymerization, and this polymerization of ethene is done by two ways. So there are two types of polyethylene are formed. The first type is called the low density polyethylene. Low density means the molecules of ethene is a monomer in this case, they are not that much closely packed with each other. So a long chain is formed having low density. For this purpose, we done the process of polymerization of ethene at high pressure, which is about 100 to 200 atmosphere, and very moderate temperature 150 to 400 degrees Celsius. This temperature and pressure converts the ethene into a complex molecule called polyethylene having low density. This is used to make plastic bags, bottles, packaging and insulation. The next type of polyethylene is the high density polyethylene. High density polyethylene is produced at low pressure. This pressure is 0.1 to 5 atmospheric, and a low temperature 50 to 100 degrees centigrade or Celsius. High density means the monomers of ethene are closely packed with each other and form a high density polyethylene. This is used to make boxes, crates, rigid bottles, dustbins and heavy duty plastic bags. Dear students, after having this understanding about the types of polyethylene and their uses, now we are moving towards the next slide, which tells us some more uses of polyethylene as a typical plastic. You can see from this slide, polyethylene, 76% of the polyethylene which is produced by the industries used in film making. 8% used as extrusion coating, 5% injection molding, 4% wires and cable, and 7% used in other uses. We have already discussed some basic uses of polyethylene in the previous slides. So this is about the polymers, types of polymers and the process of polymerization, how it is done, different types of polymerization we have studied, and then we studied the different basic uses of the different polymers, and specifically we focus on the uses of polyethylene. Now I'm going towards the next slide. This slide is having a surprise for you. You have to do these questions from your book Chemistry for Cambridge or Level, the page number 16 and 17, and the questions are 5, 7 and 9. You have to do this homework in your notebooks, and hope that you have enjoyed today's lecture and understand the basic concepts about polymerization and the polymers. Thank you very much for being with me. Stay at home, stay safe. Allah Hafiz.